All right. Hey, can you hear me now? I can't hear me. I'm going to plug this in over here so I can hear myself. It's weird to not be able to hear myself. Okay, Sarah here, NextGEN Medium. This is a video recording of my podcast. Alter my things just a little bit here. So this is your opportunity to see the stuff that doesn't, or hear the stuff that doesn't go into the podcast. And yeah, so the podcast can be heard just about anywhere podcasts are heard. Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever, Google Podcasts, Deezer, yeah, a lot of places. So if you want to hear the produced version of what you're going to witness here, then go to my website, nextgenmedium.com. You can see the list of podcast providers, platforms, and see which one is your jives with you, which one's your bag. All right, so this episode I've recorded once already. We're going to record it again. Let's make sure I've got it all working here. Hey there. Okay. Volume is kind of low. Should I touch that gain? Just a little bit? Just a bit. Just the tiniest bit. All right. I'm afraid to touch that thing when I'm already recording. That is sacred. You do not touch it when it is recording, but I just did it. Okay, enough of this. Nextgenmedium.com is my website. And you can find all kinds of intuition, psychic, development stuff there. And if you are yourself on a journey, maybe you're starting to catch on to your mediumship or your psychic or intuitive abilities, and you're like, hey, whoa, there's something here, then or maybe you started to Google things like, am I a psychic, or how do I know if I'm a psychic, or what are psychic abilities, or I don't know, stuff like that, then you're in the right place, because it's all about uncovering that stuff that everybody has. And you'll get to know more as I give you my introduction here on my podcast. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Today's episode is about finding purpose even before you uncover those skills or control those skills. That's another way to put it. Okay. And it's going to go a little something like this. Hey there, Sarah with you, NextGEN Medium. Let's say you are unable to control when you tap into your psychic or intuitive or mediumship abilities when you want to do it. I see you raising your hand. And this is the case for a lot of people, and maybe for you as well. And it can be very frustrating. It can be very frustrating knowing that you've had experiences and you know that this is a part of your toolbox. And now you're like, okay, I'm ready to take this on. I'm ready for learning this part of me. And maybe you've tried some exercises and you're not finding that you can control when you tap into it. There's something to think about that could be part of the reason why you are unable to tap into those abilities. And it has to do with why. Why do you want to tap into those abilities? What is your purpose and why you want your abilities? And what will you do with those abilities that impact others? How is it going to change the world? Discovering your purpose will build the intentions you put out to the world, and most importantly, put in your own head as you practice to uncover and hone in on your soul abilities. This episode, we're finding purpose and building intentions. So important whether you can control your abilities or not. Whether you have recognized your abilities or maybe you haven't. It's important, it's part of the process, and it could be the key to unlock that the control of your abilities. And that's coming up this episode on NextGEN Medium, the podcast. Okay. Something you will see me continually do is this. Okay, there it is. I did it. And now it's a little too high, but it will sink down because that's what it does. I've added a little something to my background. I'm a big Green Day fan. I've loved Green Day since I was 8 or 9 years old. And I'm still a fan of theirs. So I thought I'd put a little something there. I'm wondering if every episode I should stack a little something different behind me, like add to the background. I don't know. Okay. This is where I get to do an introduction, where I introduce myself, and maybe this will help you understand a little about what's happening. Okay. Hey there, Sarah Nickerson with you. I'm the founder of NextGEN Medium, and I have uncovered my psychic medium intuitive abilities, and I did it a couple years ago and have been on a journey to uncover more and witness more. What are the possibilities for me? And in the process, I've figured out that it's actually something that everybody could do, and it's your birthright. It's something we're all invited to access. And I'm here to bring awareness of that fact. I'm also here to help you, being a couple steps ahead of you in the process, to help you uncover your abilities, to witness them for yourself, to get control of them. Ooh, that's a hard one. And that's kind of where we're going today. We want to talk about why. Why do you want to do it? Uncovering why you want to have access, control of your psychic, intuitive mediumship abilities is just as important as uncovering the abilities. Finding the purpose helps you build the intention going into doing your work. And this is like one of those kind of episodes that can tap into every aspect of your life. But when you are using your psychic, intuitive, mediumship abilities, I seriously got to find another word for that. Healing abilities, I got to put that in there as well. There's got to be something that defines why you're doing it. We all come to this doorstep with different experiences. This doorstep of your soul purpose, right? But there's one thing we all need to figure out when we get here. Why do you want to do this? So let me get things started by giving you a little taste of what I come across with this particular subject. Okay. All right. I'm really close to the camera today. It makes me feel really uncomfortable. I don't know if I like it. That was the tiniest change of my life. All right, hold up. Hold up. Everybody, wait. Okay, for reals. It's a little better. Okay. So when people come to me for a reading or just a little mentorship session, they come to me saying, I think I have psychic abilities. I go, "Okay, tell me your experiences. Tell me what's gone down where you think you got this and, you got it, but I just wanna hear what your experiences are. And maybe I can help pinpoint, what kind of senses are strong for you based on the experiences you've had, um, and also get a feel for where you are at with that kinda stuff, because you might be further along than you realize. And so, people will tell me their experiences, and then I'll be the one to be like, "Yeah, those are psychic experiences, those are you have abilities. We all do, right? Uh, but I'm here to validate, yes. Yep, you got it. Mhm." And then people are just kinda like, "Oh, wow," like, "I knew it." Or, "Me?" Like, "Okay, so, uh" now what, What do I do now? Well, for the natural step is to want to be able to control them and to find the place in your brain where you can tap into it when you want, how you want, all that stuff. But from what I've seen, people are interested in developing their skills. They want to get control of when and how to access the ability. And if you're in a place where you either can access it sometimes or you don't feel like you have a clear accessibility or you just haven't found it yet, it's there, okay? And there will be a point when you feel like you are you've gauged this far, you've gauged over in this direction, and you will find the middle ground. That it will come. But, this is an opportunity if you don't have full controlled access now, consider this a sign to develop the purpose before moving forward with the power. So then I have to kinda put this on people's plates where you have to face a reality of attaining this truth, which is what do you do with it? What do you do with these skills once you do uncover or once you can control? Um, and then the other thing to think about, and I'm just gonna throw this in here, I don't know if this is gonna go in the podcast, but the other thing to think about is the skills that you, say you come to me and you're right at the doorstep. "I know I have psychic abilities. Tell me if these are psychic abilities." You're coming to me with these questions. Um, the psychic abilities you're present or intuitive or mediumship, the soul abilities, I'm gonna put it that way. Come to me, um, the soul abilities you come to me with, of the experiences you've had, aren't the full spectrum of what's possible for you. So these just might be the heightened skills that you have, but I do believe, from my experience, that you are capable of broadening and getting more in depth. Um, Part of the problem is just even being aware, knowing what to look for, knowing what counts. Um, and then I think once those things are kind of defined for people, then it gives you sort of a direction to go, um, to get into the soul abilities, to really tap into the intuition, which is sort of the informal, formal first step, and then getting into the concentrations of psychic ability, mediumship ability, healing. Intuition's always that foundation. I'm always going to say that. Okay. So, what do you do with it? One thing that's pretty powerful is our intentions. Whether we are aware of our intentions or not, whether we put them into words for ourselves or not. Intentions, why you do something, what you're intending, right? That's intentions. Why? What's your goal? Our intentions is what we put out as why we do things. To seek a better understanding, to help others, to create something new, to make something possible. Defining your purpose builds your intention. And the intention is defining why you're going forth with pursuing what you're pursuing. So we got to find a purpose. Do you have a purpose? Do you have a purpose? I did not start this journey saying, what's my purpose? Uh no, I went into it going, would it be cool if I did have psychic abilities? Isn't that crazy? Oh my god. And I think a lot of people are sort of they want it to be proven. Like, I got to prove this to myself. I got to see this as my own truth. And from my standpoint and my experience, I can alleviate that with, you got it. You got it. Okay. Just, you got it. In our culture, we want science to prove it for it to be truth. Well, I'm going to say you got it. Okay. Take that for what it's worth. But I get it. I get it that you want to prove that you have these abilities and that you're able to control them. Like, I get that because that was me. But a lot of things led up to me just uncovering my abilities in such a way that was so, I don't want to say mundane, but I don't know. There wasn't a big catastrophe that led to me uncovering my abilities. It was sort of something I chose to do, and then because I went and did it, it was sort of like I don't know, spirit, I don't know, was waiting for me to come come to it. And maybe by that point I became prepared for that moment through the experience I had, through the purposes I served, the intentions I had. So, did I ever define my intentions? Maybe a little bit. Maybe a little bit. And we're going to talk more about that. I'm sidetracking here, but this is the raw, uncut version. So you get to see this stuff, and then you get to see it all neatly packed and prepared and produced. Anything with the letter P with the podcast on Podbean. Where was I? So defining your purpose builds the intention, and the intention is defining why. So do you have a purpose? You've already been living it. So yes, you have a purpose, and you've been building on it for quite a while. Good for you. You didn't know you did that, did you? See how easy this is? See how easy I make this for you? It shows itself in the little things you do every day and in the greater things that you've accomplished over your lifetime. The things you set out to do, and maybe they're big failures. Maybe they're incredible challenges that you've overcome. Recognizing your purpose and how you've built your life so far will help you define that intention. And defining your intention may lead to how you choose a new purpose. Maybe you recognize your purpose as something that's, oh, that's not what I want my purpose to be. Well, what do you want your purpose to be? And then you move forward with that with an intention. It's building a definition for yourself, really. But I think when you're able to define it and put it into words, I think it becomes more resonant for you. especially when you're putting your attention and awareness to it. So now we got to figure some things out. Here's what we want to figure out. We want two things, okay? And directly, they really have nothing to do with controlling your soul abilities. But indirectly, they will have the greatest impact on your work going forward and maybe your life. I'm going to drink to that. Ugh. That's some old coffee. It's chewy. It's kind of caught in my throat. That's how chewy it is. Not my Pike Place today. I'm just going to say that. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it's not Pike Place. Okay. Okay, we want to figure out two things. We want to figure out what your purpose is. What is your purpose? And we want to know how you live your purpose. Your purpose can be seen from the patterns of choices you've made in your life, from the roles you've chosen to take on, and what the roles inspired or required from you to do. I said that many times so that I can edit it so it can be pretty. You also got to think about a role. I don't know why I put this in here. I'll probably take it out, but I'll say it to you. You also need to, you also need to, I'm not from the South. So y'all is kind of one of those things. It's becoming much more culturally acceptable just about everywhere, though. It serves a purpose of grammar that is missing in the English language. I know this. Okay. I got a blanket under me. What am I doing? Okay. It's a little chills. All right. I'm comfy now. I repositioned my legs. I feel better. Okay. Here's what I'm not going to add to the podcast probably. You also need to think about a role as how you would define what you do for a living. When someone asks you, what do you do? It's more about the responsibilities you take on, the things you take care of, what you do to serve, to do your job, and less important about the job title. So in our society, when you meet someone new, it's like, oh, what's your name? Yeah. Oh, what do you do? And then we'll be like, oh, I'm an account manager. Yeah. Manage accounts. And it's like, okay, what do you do? And it's those things that you're defining a little bit more about what it is that your job title is supposed to be all about. It's those things that we're really looking at. A job title doesn't define anything other than giving people an idea of your identity, but it's not your identity. But whatever. This is sort of a new thing in my brain that I've been processing lately, and I think it's going to be in a future post. It's the idea of work creating purpose versus purpose creating work. And part of that, and this is not going in the podcast, but part of that has to do with my own transition after I had a spiritual awakening that just fell upon me, where Sarah, after the spiritual awakening, viewed work very different than before my spiritual awakening. Before my spiritual awakening, it was my work defining me, defining my time, and me feeling like my purpose was the title I was hired to do. And then after my spiritual awakening, what I realized was my purpose behind my work was more important than the actual things I was doing. I gotta think about that one some more, but it's just strange. It was a strange progression that I did not see coming, and actually, I don't really know. I did not consciously make the effort of that change in my mind. It sort of just happened. It was sort of like that's the sound of a switch. It's more like, what am I doing? Okay, so you got to look at here's what you look at. Okay, look at jobs you've held, the responsibilities you had in those jobs. Look at the things you've done when it comes to volunteering, the clubs that you've joined, what you've done in those clubs, or even the hobbies that you do on your own time that you choose for yourself to do. And these things will help you define your purpose. And your purpose doesn't have to be this big, grand thing. It can be very simple. And so, what we're going to do is we're going to look at various circumstances of your. I don't like that. What we're going to do is we're going to look at multiple examples of things that you've done, and we're going to find the patterns. What are the things that are in common? We're going to use me as an example because I think I got a good one for you. I think I got a good example based on my own experience. Okay. This is recording. Okay. And this is recording. This is the other thing with my spiritual awakening is I am a space cadet. And it gets kind of old sometimes. Okay. Looking at patterns, my example, and it goes a little something like this. Okay. I did go through that. My example. Okay, here it is. This is my example. Okay. So I did an assessment for myself where I looked at past roles that I took on. Things I wanted to pursue. And it looks a little something like this. So let's start in high school. Okay, high school. I decided I wanted to go to college for recording engineering, and I wanted to become a music producer. I love music. I love recording music. I love the process. I love the process of creating a new song. And so, what I wanted to do as a music producer was to help musicians in the studio create the sound that would be heard all over the world. I wanted to create the sound. I wanted to create the atmosphere. I wanted to help them express themselves musically, beautifully. Okay, so there's one little thing. Okay, let's build the puzzle. Let's add another puzzle piece. The furnace is going to go off. I'm just going to keep going. I don't know why I care so much about the furnace. You can't hear the furnace, but it's heard in the podcast. It's going to go off. Okay, after college. So I went to college. I did go to school for recording engineering. And then I got pregnant my last year of college. And the kind of next step after at that time when recording engineering was actually a program, it didn't become defunct, which it did once I graduated, which is awesome. Still paying those student loans. Not happy about that still. The next step would be to go intern, go work for a little recording studio, and you probably had to move. So I'd probably had to have moved to LA or Nashville or New York. Well, my last year of college, I got pregnant and I actually graduated with an infant, like, in my arms. And I worked my ass off to graduate when she was born because I should have taken a spring semester, but I smashed everything up and tried to finish up before she was born. I think I did all right with that. But going back here. So, going off to New York, LA, all that, it just wasn't going to happen. But I still wanted to do a cool job that was fun, you know? And so I became a tattoo artist. Like, yeah, like licensed tattoo artist. I did the apprenticeship, not on The Apprentice. I did an apprenticeship to become a tattoo artist. I got my license. I became certified and all that stuff. And I wanted to do it because I love the aspect of helping people express themselves with art on their body. I'm an artistic person. Thought it'd be cool to be able to put that on people's bodies. And it was a symbol of something that was very important to them. The ones most satisfying to me were for a person who had passed away or a pet. People love getting tattoos of their pets, or even something that was symbolic for themselves of something that was important to them, of their journey. Um, so okay, there. Tattoo artist. After that, went down a side path and ended up at some point taking courses at a local university with an aim to get into graduate school. So I already had a bachelor's by this point. But I found my path led me into the medical field. And I thought, I don't want to be a doctor, but I wouldn't mind going back to school for something clinical. And so I actually wanted to go to graduate school to become a speech pathologist. I wanted to help diagnose people who had lost their ability to talk or their ease in talking, or help them with therapy in order to regain or gain their ability to express themselves. I wanted to help people express themselves. You see the theme that's happening here? About the same time that I was taking those classes, actually, before I started taking those classes, shortly before, I ended up getting a job in radio working on air. I was a DJ on Saturdays at a rock station. And one of the most rewarding parts of this job was that, first of all, I didn't have to look at the people that I was talking to because that's really scary. Hey, it's kind of like this. But I could bring attention to things that masses of people would hear. And I could give an organization an opportunity to be heard. Sometimes we would do, these, what's it called? Community events. There, something like that. Community something. I don't know. Anyway, I could bring attention to causes and to people and give the opportunity of attention for these people to be talked about or these causes to be heard. And in fact, I still do this work to this day, and I actually use my voice to help give a voice to someone who doesn't have a microphone or the platform that I do. Okay, so you see these examples? Do you see the theme here? I want to help people express themselves. I want people to be heard. I want to help them be heard. That is me finding my purpose. I want to help people be heard. And wouldn't you know it, I love mediumship. I love having the ability to communicate with someone in spirit, someone who has died, someone who's passed on, and I'm able to take the information that they give me in whatever way they give it to me. Could be through visuals, it could just be a knowing, it can be a feeling, and I'm able to pass that information along to somebody in front of me or on the other side of the camera. That's how it's working nowadays. I'm able to help them express themselves and continue the message on to the person who needs to hear it. That's my purpose. That's my story. So here I have found my purpose to help people be heard, to help ideas be heard, to assist in having information move to its intended destination, into the mind of somebody else. How have I done that? I've done it through art. I've done it through music. I've done it through science in the example of the speech pathology. I do it with my own voice. So, why is this my purpose? This is going a little bit beyond, but it could help you kind of clarify your purpose a little bit more. Why is that my purpose? And it wasn't until a couple days ago when I was writing these notes for this podcast, for this vlog podcast recording, that I was thinking about this. And then I realized this is kind of important to what we're talking about. So I'll give you this as a little background as to why. Why is that my purpose? To help give people a voice. And it has to do with my own story of not having a voice. All right, this is the part where we get a little personal. We all had something difficult we had to deal with growing up in some way. And it doesn't matter the degree of it compared to other people, because you don't understand the experience of other people. This all builds up to how you understand this world, what your truths are. So, taking a look at my past, having a voice was really hard for me growing up. I had things I wanted to express. I, at one point, was able to express them, but then there came a point when the things I wanted to express were not received very well. And it's hard because I don't want to pinpoint or be blaming, because that's not the point of me telling this story. The point of me telling this story is I was repressed and it was not okay for me to voice my opinions when I was younger. And so I turned that in, and there came a point when I suppressed it. Growing into an older child, I learned to express it. I knew what was unacceptable, and that was unacceptable to give my opinions, even if I recognize now that that wasn't right. Like, I should have been able to say what I had to say and not get crap for it. A lot of crap. And I'm going to stop there because I don't think I need to go any further with that. So, repressing it means I have to keep my thoughts to myself. I am not able to express. I'm not able to have a voice. As a teenager, I found a way to express myself that was acceptable. And that was through music and art. That's how I could express myself and not feel bad about it, about having an opinion. Um, what was difficult about these things was expressing yourself through art and music is a very personal, individual. That's not where I want to go with that. Expressing yourself musically or artistically, at least the way I went about doing it, was a very isolating way of communicating. It was not a way to have a conversation. It was a way to say my piece, but also do it very preparedly, very controlled. But the fact that I had an outlet, that's what I needed, to be able to find my voice again, to be able to express what was going on within me. So as I grew into an adult, I grew more into having my voice, speaking my truth. It was very difficult for me to say, like in a conversational way, what my feelings are. I still have these problems. Um, and it's so amazing that I'm in radio. I have a microphone in front of my face all the time, and I have these problems, but this is a part of building that purpose, why it was important for me. So, but as I grew into an adult, I was able to express myself beyond my music and more true to my voice. And with this voice, I gained for myself, which a lot of things helped along, including becoming a mom. Um, I found a need to want to help others express their messages. I wanted to help. I wanted to help people be heard. Because for the longest time, I I couldn't, and then I had to figure out how to speak. And it's almost like literally how to speak. So when I reflect on sort of the beginning of Bill of so when I reflect on what is it? The genesis of the creation of my purpose, it really does bring an emotional connection to help express, help people understand, help someone be heard. It really does put an emotional feeling in there where it becomes a much stronger understanding for myself. And so now that I have a good understanding of what my purpose is, now I got to figure out, how will I work my purpose? How will I work my purpose? Why did I put that in there? I want to help express. I want to help people heal. I want to help in understanding. And you can see these through the examples of the different things that I took on in my lifetime. Becoming a music producer, I wanted to help people express. Tattoo artist. Yeah, I wanted to help people express, but I think there's also helping people heal in that one as well. Also helping people understand, like, that's kind of a part of it as well, because there's sort of this the person I'm doing it for, people I do it for, versus the other people that they come across. You know what I mean? Those people can understand too. The speech pathologist, that's all of these things, helping people express, helping people heal, help in understanding. And then my radio stuff. I'm in radio and I express all the time. And I have a platform where I can make many people aware. And I think this is a new thing I've taken on as part of my purpose is awareness of these abilities, the soul abilities. So that's kind of a new purpose that I've taken on. But underlying, so I want to help people be heard, right? So putting together what my purpose is and how I will deliver my purpose, how I will serve my purpose, helps me define my intention. I use my intention throughout the day. Building the intention sets it out to the universe and myself why I do what I do. And here's something to think about. Maybe your intention needs to be defined so you can deliver it to spirit. Maybe the universe needs to know what's going on. And the strength of that energy of your intention, this is how harmonious that energy is, the stronger that energy will be, the purity of your intention. Maybe that needs to be felt and heard. By yourself, but beyond yourself. Building the intention sends it out to the universe and sets it out to myself as to why I do what I do. Perhaps creating your intention is a down payment to spirit. Oh, I kind of went into Target, lady. I apologize. I need an almond. Half an almond. Perhaps creating your intention is a down payment to spirit that you will initiate the true control of your abilities. This is my plan. My plan is to do a reading, and I want to connect this woman with her husband who has passed. I want you to help me be as clear in your messaging as you can. I want you to show yourself to me. I want you to give me information that helps create evidence. Evidence helps this woman believe that I'm talking to you, that I'm communicating with you. We need to do this together because this will help bring perspective to her of where you actually are. And maybe you can pass along what you need to pass along in order for her to heal a little bit more. There goes the furnace. Ah! Bloody hell. All right, where are we at here? Jesus, how do I make these go on for an hour? I don't even know. You know what? Furnace is going, and I'm going to keep going. I'm inspired by that furnace. That furnace has purpose. It has intentions. And I just got to go with it. But I think in saying, your intention is a down payment to spirit of what you want to initiate, I think it's also a clarification for you. And something else to keep in mind is being in concert with your intention will allow your higher self to have a more significant presence with you. This presence is your partner in soul abilities. This presence being your higher self. In fact, your higher self is what you tap into to control and use those soul abilities. And guess what? Your purpose is going to lie how do I say this? Your purpose is going to lie in creating those higher emotion, wait, higher energy emotions. Those higher energy emotions, gratitude, appreciation, joy. You're looking for a direction? What makes those things happen? And guess what? Your higher self is going to be like, yep, let's do this. Because that's where your higher self is. It's in those higher energies. Yeah, we're getting a little woo-woo there, but hey, you're the one that wants to come into the world. You're at the doorstep. You're tapping on the window. Yeah. You like my sound effects this episode? I got the light switch. Tapping at the window. Now, when it comes to your soul abilities, that's the mode that gets you there. But what mode you will take is secondary to the whole process, whether that be psychic, intuition, your mediumship, your healing, whatever. That is secondary to this whole process. All right, now it's your turn. You got to figure this out. Good luck. Now it's your turn. It's your turn to narrow down your purpose and how to work your purpose. What does the past reveal for you? The roles you've chosen to take on, the things you do that you're not getting paid to do. What is it that it's doing for other people? And what are the things that you do that bring about those higher energy emotions, right? Now, let's say you got a list, you got something. Okay, this is my purpose. Oh, I'm not sure about this. Just sit with it for a couple days. You don't need to commit to it. You can change it. But if you're having a hard time pinpointing your purpose, that's a sign of not being in touch with your intuition. And maybe you're not quite ready to stand solid enough in your truth. Ooh, that hurts. Mama's got to bring it sometimes. Mama's got to lay it out sometimes. That's why I do what I do. I'm just being honest. I heard hey ya today. Can you tell? So what do you feel if you allow what you find to be considered the truth? Ooh, wait. I'm going in a weird direction here. That's not going in the podcast. So there you have it. Lay it out. Make a list. And then put it together and be like, you know what? All these things have this in common. For me, it was helping people express, helping entities express. I guess that's another way to put it. No matter if they have a body or not, I want to help them. I want to help them get their message across. There it is. What's yours? What's yours? And then maybe finding this purpose, you need to create your intention so that when you close your eyes and you're meditating, you're like, all right, now's the time that I'm going to tap into that psychic ability and I'm going to get a thing. Before you even go there, you got to put it out. First of all, you need to define it for yourself so you know what you're saying in your head to yourself, but to the universe and beyond. What is your intention? Here's my intention. When I'm about to do a reading, and it gets to the point where I don't even have to say it anymore because it's understood at this point. But I go up to my little window where I see the dead people. A nicer way to say that is people who've passed on, where I see people who've passed on, and I say to them, I want to connect you with April. April needs something from you. Give me your messaging and I'll pass it along with the most respectful, compassionate way that I can. I just said dead people. That's not very compassionate, but sometimes I feel like I gotta be like straightforward with how our culture understands the stuff that happens with me. So that's like sort of my simplistic way of saying, I talk to dead people. To me, they're people without bodies. That's the way I put it. Like they're you and me, except this isn't around anymore. But anyway, my intention is to connect you with this person and to take in the information you give me. And I'm going to do my best effort to make sense and to deliver. And I appreciate this opportunity you're giving me to change this person's life and maybe give them a whole new perspective of how this world works. And there is one thing that I say, and sometimes I say it kind of sarcastically, but it's always something I put in there. And maybe you could do this with your meditation. I always put this out there. This is going to be the best reading I've ever done. Sometimes I say it with a little sarcasm because sometimes I have a string of not awesome readings where I'm just like, there's only one direction right now, And I can be very hard on myself too. And that's maybe something you can understand, is that maybe you're kind of hard on yourself and maybe there's some expectations there that you need to clear out. You cannot have expectations going into this because what's going to happen is going to happen, and that's it. All right. So that would be my intention that I would go into to do a reading. And your intention could be, all right, I'm just going to chill. I'm just going to let thoughts come in and out. I'm going to take notice of imagery that comes through. Just going to focus on that sense. And whatever I get, I'm going to be grateful for. And I'm going to appreciate. And then when you're going forward and working with people, that's when your intention changes and it's, what can I do for this person? Why am I doing this for this person? I want to help this person express themselves. I want to give that person a voice because this person can't hear it yet. Maybe because they haven't worked on their soul abilities yet. All right, that does it for this episode of NextGEN Medium, the podcast. If you are looking for a little assessment of where you are at, or maybe you need an outside perspective of why you can't get control of your gosh darn abilities, you can book a session with me by going to nextgenmedium.com. As soon as you get on that front page, you just got to scroll down a little bit, or you can click around, whatever. And you'll be able to see my appointments calendar. You'll be able to just pick a date and time that's there, and then put down a deposit, and that'll save the date. Maybe you just want a psychic mediumship reading. I can do that too. In fact, I love doing those. Again, nextgenmedium.com. Or even if you need help in assessing what your purpose is, I would love to help you with that. It's like a puzzle. That's fun to me. A shout out this week goes to Eleanor of London, England, love, for her donation. Thank you so much, Eleanor. Much appreciated. And you can go to the website and donate to keep this podcast or vlog alive. And you are free to go donate at I almost went into work mode there. Free to donate at nextgenmedium.com and give me a donation and I'll give you a shout out on the podcast. It's that easy. Check out everything I do, my blog, my vlog, my podcast on my website at nextgenmedium.com. If you want the raw, uncut version of the podcast, you can take a look at the YouTube channel where I post all the podcasts recording videos where you can check out the additional stuff that doesn't get in the final version, doesn't become part of the final cut of the podcast. Plus, it can be a bit unpredictable and fun. You get to hear my furnace. Actually, you don't. You only hear the furnace in the podcast. Sorry, but you get to see me freak out when the furnace goes on. Maybe even get to hear the toilet flush, and maybe even see me spill my coffee, which happens quite a lot, even if it's not Pike Place, etc. Check out the corresponding blog post and video at nextgenmedium.com, and I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest for all of your social media liking needs. Until next time, have a pleasant rest of your day. To all of you listening from Brisbane, Culver City, and Manchester, be safe, and I'll chat with you later. See ya. Bye. That's it. You just witnessed another episode, long-ass episode of the raw, uncut podcast video recording. And there will be another one next week. Don't forget to smash that like button. Check out the links in the description below for podcast, blog, social media, the websites. And hey, I want to talk to you. If you want to book an appointment with me, just go check out my calendar and go find a date. Find a date. And you can donate at nextgenmedium.com to help me increase the awareness of these soul abilities that runs rampant for all of us, but people just can't seem to be aware of. And I can help you with that too. So, and help other people. So help me with my mission, nextgenmedium.com. And you can also book an appointment. That's it. Love you long time. Be cool. Stay safe. And rock on. We'll see what fun little doodad I can bring to the set next week. All right. That's it. That's all I got. See you. Bye.